There was no resistance about checking internet, about tapping in on your telephone, and other things that they can do. Why were they so willing to give up their civil liberties with no resistance whatsoever?
For the most part of it, people didn't read it. I mean, they didn't know what it said. I mean, you had what, 2,000-page document that people were supposed to go through. People just didn't read it. I mean, and you know, and the more they take away from you, you know, the more you allow them to take, the more that they take. And so the question is just how much are the people willing to take, and are the people willing to rise up and say we're not going to take any more of it? Because at the end of the day, I mean, America is policing the world in the name of democracy, but there's really not there's not one here.
Democracy.
You know.
Well, that word, you know, Harold, comes from a word, demos.
That's right.
And demos means demon or devil. And ocracy means government.
Right.
You know, we don't live in a democracy.
No.
And that's where our folks, when you say have been misled.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We live in a republic. They taught you in school, what'd you say? And to the republic.
Which it stands.
For which it stands. You didn't say to the democracy for which it stands.
Yeah.
And they've deceived the whole world, as I always say, like the book of Revelation says.
It's like they fought, bro.
Yeah, they've deceived the whole world.
And Brother Harold, what I would really like to know to you is once this thing really goes down, you know, it's out there already in the process. Like you said, there's nothing new about the New World Order. But I'm talking about once the stormtroopers, you know what stormtroopers are, they were in Germany. Once they start coming down the street and start taking people off the FEMA camps, what do the people do? What do they do? What do they really do?
I think first and foremost is the question, what would the people do? I mean, you know, you got the Tea Party candidates saying don't retreat, reload. You know, you got a group of people out there that's saying that we will kill any politician that we see fit that needs to be killed. That group was on 60 Minutes Sunday. I mean, and they're taking the guns out of our community, but at the same time, all the young people in Black America got the guns. And so the homeowner, they're saying that he shouldn't have a gun. But how are these babies getting these guns if that's the real issue is how are the guns getting to them? I mean, nobody's talking about how they're getting the guns. I talked to some young people and they say, well, we get our guns at the gun turn-in, a lot of them. We just stand around the corner and we give them $10 more than what they're asking for the gun. So if they get $100, we give them $110. And so the question is, how are all of our children getting the guns? I mean, you know, it used to be a time, you know, 20 years ago, a gun was a rarity. I mean, you get out of 20 guys, maybe one guy might have had a gun. Now, out of 20 guys, maybe 19 of them got guns.
Now rephrase my question. Rephrase my question. We know that Black people of color do not control the gas that's coming into their community. They don't control the electricity or the food that's coming to their community. Once this thing really go down, I'm asking, what are we to do since we don't control the electricity? We don't control the water. We don't control anything in our community. We got people eating potato chips that don't even come from us. What do we do? I'm talking about once this thing is really implemented. That's what I'm.
Well, if it goes down like that, and all the power goes out, then the richest man in Chicago is just like the poorest man in Chicago. When the lights go out, everybody's even Steven. I mean, so if they can say they can keep lights in one side of the town, then that's one thing. But if all the lights go out, then the richest man in Chicago is just as well off as.
What do we do?
Yeah, I mean, do we have sustainability ideas that we have generators in our houses? Do we have enough water to last us for 3 months in the basement? Do we have enough food to last us for 3 to 6 months, if that comes about? I mean, the old canning process that grandmama used to do, you know, put the stuff in the
jars.
Jason, the mason jars. I mean, that that's something that we should look at as far as sustainability. And so the question is, do we have generators? Do we have enough water? Do we have enough food that we can stay in the house for 3 months without coming out?
Well, he mentioned John Harrison earlier, and John Harrison had the knowledge, but they had the guns. So I'm asking, if they have the guns, even though you have all that, what do you do? Will we be put in a situation of what's similar to what John Harrison went through?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm asking.
Yeah, you know, Marcy Toombs said power comes out of the barrel of a gun. I mean, so if they have all the firepower, then quite naturally, I mean, how do you defend yourself? You know, Nat Turner was trying to get to where they kept the guns when he broke off. He said, if I get to where they got the guns, then I'll take over the whole town. And so, but he didn't make it then. So
because of someone who was with him.
Right, tricked off on it.
As the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, there are 3 things that destroy us. Number 1, we have stool pigeons. That's the first thing that we have. They will go tell that Jesus is coming back tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Master knows what I do before I do it.
All right.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, they used to have an old saying. The old saying said, Master know, there was a song the slaves sang, Master know what I do before I do it. Master know what I do before I do it. You see, my brother and my sister, they told him last night when they was with him.
I'm trying, you know what, I'm trying to get some applicable out of it, whereas once this thing goes down, like the Luciferians and the shadow government intends for it to go, what do you do if you don't control anything in your community? Once they start marching you off to the FEMA camp, well, what do you do?
There's nothing that they can do. I mean, if the state of Illinois runs out of food in 3 days, then that means black folks run out in 3 hours. I mean, so what does an unprepared people do? I mean, black people will not be prepared for the to sustain themselves because they don't have the capacity to do so. I mean, the only reason that this country is not in a major depression is because of the 43 million new people that get a link card. And so that's the only reason why. And so if you say this state runs out of food in 3 days, then what do anybody do?
So are you suggesting that we march to the death camps, the FEMA camps that we know, according to all sources are already set up already with no resistance whatsoever, because you just said, what can we do?
Well, I'm suggesting that people like you, people like Alderman Jones, particularly all the ministers that are in the churches, to start preparing people to sustain themselves, enough water for the next 3 months, enough food for the next 3 months, canned food or whatever you have to do. Because if this thing goes down the way that they say it's going to go down, and that's the only way that we will sustain ourselves, because people will virtually come out the house in search for food and water. I mean, they're going to come out, and they're not going to stay in the house.
There'll be mass riots.
You know?
All right. All of this boils down to one thing, and I want you to listen, hear me here, to oil. Oil is creating this whole problem. They do not have enough oil to supply to the masses of people on this planet. Wouldn't you say that?
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to cause a great collapse. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And they don't want to tell the people the truth. All right? I mean, they talk about windmills. Well, all that stuff going to California. They ain't coming here to the Midwest. But they got people believing in that mythical mess.
Is President Obama, in your opinion, is he part of the New World Order? Is he playing a role in a New World Order?
Well, I mean,